An absolutely massive amount of people's work went into Fallout 4, but they were all directed by one person. And today, gameranx is going to help you get to know him just a little bit better with the top 5 Todd Howard facts. Number 5. The last 4 Todd Howard projects have been Game of the Year. Morrowind, Oblivion, Fallout 3, and Skyrim are chronologically the last 4 games that he's been the director of, and all of them have won Game of the Year. Now, a lot of people will go, but there's a million Game of the Years. Basically, every single publication picks a Game of the Year. There's numerous organizations that give out an award for Game of the Year, etc. I kind of think that in terms of sheer scope, progression, and hype, it's kind of hard to deny that those 4 games really received probably the most attention and made the biggest jumps of their respective years. Every single one of those games advanced video games by such a massive jump. It's hard for me to say, yeah, there is a million Game of the Years, so he definitely didn't get that. I just don't really think that it's right to take that away from those games. All 4 of those are massive and did so much for video games. Obviously, taste is subjective, so if you don't agree, that's fine. I'm not angry at you. But if you do try to say that these games weren't massive steps in the evolution of what we consider a video game today, well, I am kind of mad at you for that. And really, the sheer amount of accolades that Todd Howard has accrued for these games, it's not for no reason. Number 4. Mr. Howard's taste in games is fairly varied. He considers Grand Theft Auto 3 to be his favorite game of all time, but cites Wizardry and Ultima 3 to be his inspiration for basically all of the games he's ever created. If you take Grand Theft Auto 3 out of the equation, Ultima 7 is his favorite PC game, and he's generally what you could call an RPG nerd. Although that is to be expected of a person who has made literally some of the biggest RPGs in history. Although he played a whole lot of Wing Commander, specifically in college, when he would install it in the computer lab and used up a whole lot of time that would have been designated for learning had he not been that interested in it. Number 3, speaking of Todd Howard in college, he double majored in engineering and finance despite his desire to create video games. And his stated reason for that is it seemed like the easiest path to get through college. That's right, he thought that engineering and finance was the easiest way to get through college. This dude's shit is operating on a high level if that is the case. Anyway, you know how Bethesda made Wayne Gretzky hockey in the early 90s? You didn't know that? Sounds like a weird title for a studio that's responsible for some of the largest RPGs of all time. But you gotta start somewhere. And although nobody plays hockey outside of Canada, everybody in the early 90s played Wayne Gretzky hockey because it was actually a good video game. It didn't matter to us that this strange foreign sport, hockey, was something we were unfamiliar with. Anyway, he played that and he was like, I want a job at Bethesda, because he liked it. So he actually drove into Bethesda and asked for a job. He was still in school and they were like, you need to finish school. So he did finish school, and good for him. He went back to Bethesda and he was like, alright, I finished school, can I have a job? And judging by the way he tells the story, it seems like they kind of told him that to get him off their backs. But Mr. Howard is persistent, and though he double majored in engineering and finance, Todd Howard was finally able to join Bethesda Softworks in 1994. Number 2, Todd Howard was a pirate. According to Captain Todd, when he was in school, he constantly pirated computer games, as well as hacked the code himself. I'm assuming that involves taking out restrictions, or copy protection, or modding as well. It's essentially how he learned a lot of what he knows about computer programming. Digital rights holders didn't take it quite as seriously back then because everything was physical media. You couldn't just share everything with everyone, and generally you needed to have the disc to play the game. So Captain Todd was sailing the high seas long before the mainstream. One of his favorite games was actually Bethesda's Terminator 2029, and he doesn't directly say so, but I'm guessing, given that he says that within the context of he liked pirating computer games. I'm just gonna take a wild shot in the dark here, everybody. Stick with me. I don't know if it's gonna hit anything, but I'm guessing he stole it. And to be completely honest, he seems pretty unrepentant about it. It's awesome. I mean, it's not awesome that he's not sorry for stealing a bunch of computer games. It's awesome from the perspective of, I really like being amused, and this amused me. And I'll just go ahead and say this really quick to tack on with this. Don't pirate computer games. If you wonder why developers don't take the PC as a platform seriously, that's a big reason. It's easy to lose money making computer games. And I'm sure that old scurvy Captain Todd has realized that, now that the tables have turned and he's a director of some of the most well-regarded PC games of all time. And number 1, Todd Howard Howard is a father, and his son is actually the baby in the beginning of Fallout 3, the voice of the lone wanderer. Now, if I were in the same position, I would probably also want to do things like that, involving your family and your passion, which is kind of like the dream, essentially, for people who like to create. And it's also cool that he doesn't really advertise it or anything. He doesn't talk about the fact that they did that a lot. So I'm guessing it was probably just something that he considered cool for him. Or it could have even been something that his wife asked to do. I don't know. Any number of scenarios could be the case, but the point is, I don't know, I just kind of think that that's cool. It's nice. You know what else is nice? Fallout 4 is out. And it's always interesting to learn more about people who create things that you're enthusiastic about.
I was writing games when I was, 12, whatever, and the other kids in the block would say, I'm going to play quarterback for the Cowboys, and I'd be like, I'm going to make video games, and everyone's going to play them. Like, you dork. Go back to the chess club. Who's laughing now? Yes, I was in the chess club.
So which one of these facts was your favorite? Do you happen to know something about Todd Howard that is interesting and not in this video? Or perhaps you just want to discuss one further? Regardless of which one is true for you, why not go ahead and leave a comment? Also, don't forget to click the like button, it helps us an absolute ton. And if you're not subscribed already, now's a good time to do so because we upload new videos every single day, and the best way to see them first is a subscription. As always, we thank you so much for watching this video, and we will see you again next time here on gameranx.